Windows 10 on a smartphone, a G Flex 2 on the porch, and fond PDA memories from over a decade ago. When that's the kind of workday you're waking up to, you're doing something right. And if that's the kind of podcast you're tuning in for, you've come to the right place. From the studios of WERS in Boston, Massachusetts, where we have 40 different curse words for snow, I'm Michael Fisher. I'm joined by a man who calls out manufacturers on Twitter when they try to cook the spec books. Chief News Editor Stephen Schenck. Happy Friday.
How you doing, Michael?
I'm very well. And by a man with the finest accent imaginable, and he knows a thing or two about mobile tech, too. From PhoneDog Media, Cam Bunton. Welcome to the Weekly, sir.
Good day to you, sir.
Properly addressed, thank you. Jules Wang is our podcast producer, kicking the tires and working the sliders, as always, and the time is precisely 12:46 p.m. Good afternoon. And it will always be a good afternoon, if you can avoid a dreaded case of the wallet butt. That's what I say. You know what I'm talking about, that paralyzed posterior you get when you're sitting in that never-ending class, or your cousin's 4-hour production of Medea, and your wallet is just brutalizing your butt cheek. Well, I've got a solution for that. This episode of the Pocketnow Weekly is brought to you by the LD West Original Holster, a stylish, functional, and secure solution to a problem we all face daily. And even if that's not wallet butt, then it's the where's my phone problem. The LD West Original is a suspender-style, one-size-fits-all holster that cradles your phone under your right arm and your wallet under the left, making it fast and easy to get to either one, whether you're standing up or sitting down. Every LD West Original comes with a richly detailed wallet and a phone pouch in small, medium, or large size, beautifully made, and available in one of 5 colors: brown, red, black, tan, or gray. It's available exclusively at LD West for $119.99. That's U.S. dollars. That's ldwest.com. And I wear mine on every episode of the Pocketnow Weekly. So do what I do. Solve your phone bulge problem and give your butt pockets a break. Pick up an LD West Original holster today at ldwest.com. Stephen, I think that's the most time I've said butt in a promo spot. Do you agree?
Well done. You know, for as great as this LD West holster seems to be a fit for you, and thus a great sponsor for the podcast, we need to expand into this more pockets to put phones thing. Could we get like a cargo shorts manufacturer to friendly up with us?
Most definitely. Yes. And I think Cam was talking about some other wallet things with Tim Stevens on Twitter the other day. Maybe he can chime in on a future episode with that. But before any of that happens, I want Stephen to tell people how they can participate in today's podcast.
Yes. Well, if you're a familiar listener of the podcast, and we very much hope that you are, you know that you can listen along live in Google Hangouts and submit your own questions in our live Q&A. The other listeners of the show will be able to vote up the ones that they like the most, and we'll take a look, see what the crowd's consensus is. Also, if some of the questions are particularly pertinent to what we're discussing, and we'll do our best to answer them on the air. Now, we're not going to be able to answer everything that you might want to ask, so if we don't get to yours, or if you just happen to think of a question after the fact, shoot us an email. We'll be dropping the address a little later in the program. I think it's Pocketnow Podcast, Michael. Yeah, I don't know. We have so many emails.
There you go.
And we will try to get to it on a future show. So please, we'd love to hear from you. We want to talk about the things you want to hear us talking about, so let us know, and we will do our best to tailor our show to your listening needs.
We are versatile and dynamic hosts, and we are happy to do it. Just wanted to let you know, folks, if you are not listening live, you want to send an email to podcast@pocketnow.com. Make sure they're short, please. The very first email I opened up today for consideration was like 18 paragraphs long. So make them short. If they want to be longer, that's cool too. Get other people involved in the conversation. Leave them in the comments post. Leave them in the comments of the podcast post. Right. All that business aside, Cam Bunton, what the hell is happening with you, special guest? People should know you because of your excellent video work. The first video I saw of yours at PhoneDog was a throwback, I think, of the Palm Pre, the best smartphone ever made, as we all know. But if no one has seen that, and I just loved it. That was my first time seeing you, and I was like, who is this man? Every time he speaks, I feel more relaxed. I feel like I'm being taken care of in terms. Yes, in terms of that
Smartphone
mobile
dreams.
tech knowledge. But tell the people who have not seen you before where you're coming from, what you do, how you do it, and what you're all about, or just tell people what your name is. I don't care.
7 words or less.
That's right.
In 7 words or less.
Yes.
That's a challenge.
You're
Is
free
that,
now.
oh, man. I'm Cam Bunton, and I make videos for PhoneDog. How many words was that?
That was
Too
like
many.
about
Too many.
1,400 as far as
Yeah.
the limit was concerned. But no, Cam, it's great to have you, and we're really glad you're here to talk with us about mobile tech today. Cam, are you going to? Somebody in the QA is asking about MWC, which we're not going to be talking about too much because I think we're going to cover that on next week's show. But Jolly Jacobs asks, "What are your expectations for MWC?" I expect to see some of my colleagues there, and Cam, you're going to be one of them, right?
I will be there, yes.
That is fantastic.
I don't know if we lost Michael's audio there. This is not as entertaining as last week, where something went wrong with the mixing board. Anytime he spoke, there was this awful, like, dubstep-y transformer talking feedback. It wasn't constant, though. It was only when he's talking. Now I'm seeing him moving his lips, but nothing's coming out, which is less interesting. I mean, we can still see his lovely, his mug there, but, well.
We could always just listen to my relaxing British voice until he comes
that
back
would be
on again.
wonderful. I would.
Here
love
he is.
that. He would save us. I've switched the input to the old computer. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the ATR2 USB and see if that helps anything. This is strange. We did have a similar issue last week. You're right, Stephen. Let me hop back here and let's see if this solves anything.
Nope. Nada. Not happening.
He's breaking things.
Come back to us, Michael.
All right.
This is the one. Like,
Now I'm back to you. We were so ready. We were beyond ready, and then the board hath failed us. I don't know what the situation is, but I'm back to the built-in mic, so there's that. While we iron out that difficulty, I think, Stephen, we owe the viewers and the listeners. Well, what is the quote? The show must proceed.
Something like that?
Yeah, I had to fancy it up because of our British guest, you understand?
Yeah, of course.
It's
Not like the original saying is British or anything.
Right, no.
No, of course
What
not.
comes from there?
Don't bring facts
nothing.
into this. This is not going to happen.
We got a language from you. We just put a fancy accent to it.
That's right. You just put some extra vowels in there every so often, and it sounds, you know what, it sounds even better.
Yeah.
Jules, why don't you usher us into the news segment, please? And
pretend that's there.
Pretending it's there. Thank you, sir.
No,
and while it's in, we're going to work out some stuff. Stephen, take us into the news and tell us what's been happening, please.
Let's see. Oh, first thing, we got our hands on some hot new hardware. There was not a ton of super compelling flagships that premiered at CES, with a lot of manufacturers holding out for MWC in a couple weeks. One of the few standouts, though, was LG with the follow-up to, it's not even last year's, because it's technically 2013's Kirby-looking G Flex with the G Flex 2, a phone that would be awesome enough just for being another curved display LG phone, really working out some of the issues that we had with the lousy screen quality on the first one, but also maybe the most important thing about this, for now at least, until MWC comes along and we're flooded with similar models, it's powered by a Snapdragon 810, which is the creme de la crop of smartphone processors at the moment, if you don't believe all of the overheating rumors, which are seeming to be largely overplayed. There have been some benchmarks done on development hardware from Qualcomm that are making it seem like overheating is not nearly the issue we thought it was, and performance is super killer. But more importantly, we have our hands on one of these guys now, and I guess Michael has it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've seen with this guy and what you're hoping to do next with it? Michael?
Yeah, I'm with you. Sorry, I was trying to be a cowboy and trying to work with the real mic, but I couldn't. Yeah, I do have it, but I don't have it on time, and I don't have it with me. So the copy originally.
You didn't bring it? Dude.
Here's the problem. We were slated to run some coverage on it today, and then the circumstances regarding what we were allowed to release about it changed. So, not to get into too much detail, but suffice to say, we thought we had a green light to publish anything we wanted. It turns out we can only really talk about stuff that we learned at CES, which of course we know already from our CES videos. So there's no reason to do that. right now, so we'll be handling it on next week's.
All those suits
next week's
never let us have any fun.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be handling next week at least in podcast form, because we are, I believe, going to have our friend Flo on, and we will have a Gadgets in Hand segment with the G Flex 2. But I'm happy to answer some questions in the Q&A now. I can do that. This is not a total blackout. So submit your questions about that. Cam, are you going to play anything with the G Flex 2, or is somebody else in your team going to handle that?
I'm presuming that it'll be someone else in our team, because I don't think it's made its way across the pond yet.
Yeah, it's tough to see. I mean, the release footprint on the thing is tough, because it's like, all right, it's going to be ready, and then 3 weeks later, it's like, it's going to be ready halfway through the year. It's like, it depends on what market you're in.
Wait,
but
it's already out in South Korea, isn't it, though, right?
Yeah, I believe
selling there the end of January?
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I can really focus on is my UPS tracking list and finding out exactly where it is on the truck, you know.
How much does your UPS delivery guy love you? You must get packages like every single day, it seems.
I do. I get packages very, very frequently, but normally it's FedEx, and I actually appreciate that, because the FedEx is the morning delivery, and the UPS tends to
have
be
the whole day with it then. If it's not the G Flex 2, it's some mistakenly purchased Star Trek cards.
Mistakenly purchased? No, I wouldn't.
You seemed regretful.
I was not regretful one bit. I was reliving a wonderful part of my youth last night. And actually, that's another bit of the fun story, Ness. I got a notification from UPS last night that the G Flex was going to be delayed by a day. I said, "Schade," and then I went and had some very potent beer. And about two golden monkeys in, I got a buzzer at the door, and there was a G Flex 2, and it was 9:30 at night or whatever. And I was like, man, I'm not sober enough to do this unboxing, so we're not going to be doing this. So. Anyway, I'm having to work from memory on the rundown, because apparently our site is down, because our internet connection is fine, but Pocketnow itself is down.
Oh. Luckily, I have it loaded here.
Thank you, Stephen. Continue to take us through. I think the next thing we're talking about is a development on a rather notable platform this week.
Yeah, the big Windows 10 technical preview for smartphones has landed. We knew it was coming sometime in February. Microsoft is being a little coy about saying just when, but for the past week or so, rumors have been saying, oh, no, it's going to be today, and then they shoot it down. No, it's going to be tomorrow, shoot it down. Well, we have it now. It dropped yesterday. It's only available for certain models. We'll be talking about that a little more later on Dial F for Fail. But if you have one of these supported devices, which are the Lumia 630, 35, 36, 638, 730, or the 830, and you sign up for Microsoft's Windows Insider program, you can go ahead and install this guy now. There's some very, very small risks of this, because it's just a preview right now. Microsoft admits there's this infinitesimal chance you could muck up your device while flashing this. You're probably fine, and what's even better is that there's a rollback tool where if you're not loving this, because it is a preview, it's very, very rough around the edges. Microsoft does nothing to hide this. If it's not working for you as a daily driver, and there are some big things that are broken, and VPN support isn't working, a lot of other little things, you can roll back to 8.1, no problem, and then wait for the finished, polished Windows 10 release to come along. But Michael, you've been playing with this. You filmed your first interaction with this. What do you think of the preview so far?
Indeed, I have, and I find the preview a lot of fun. I know we're going to talk about this a little bit later, Stephen, about which devices got the release and which ones did not. But so far, it's fun to play with this at this stage, but it's always a little more satisfying for me, and I'll ask Cam if he has the same opinion in a second, to be able to have some sort of conclusion for a video, even in a comparison where it's like I don't generally like to say who's the winner, who's the loser. I at least like to have a conclusion of some sort that says, hey, this one's good for this kind of person, this one's good for another kind of person, or in a review, this is crap or this is awesome. With a technical preview like this, it's like impossible to do that.
Right. These are some things. This is what they are now. They might be different things later that will work differently.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's so early, and I'm actually really pleased that it came out this early, because I was not expecting the technical preview yesterday when I was waiting for the other phone to land, certainly. And so when it did appear, and it was popping up on my 830 against all of my prior luck to the in this area, I was like, oh my god, well, I'm going to do a video on this real quick. So you have to learn it as quickly as possible, upload the video, and I think it has some nice elements of potential, but it's so incomplete. I didn't get to try the new Outlook, the new Office, the new browser, the new Maps. Like there's just a lot of stuff that's on Joe Belfiore's 1520 that hasn't made it to the technical preview yet. So we'll see. Cam, of what you've seen, I know you're just working with the 400 series Lumia over there, but from what you're looking at, what are your thoughts on Windows 10 so far on phones?
Yeah, I think there's obviously a lot of good things about it, a lot of improvements that Windows Phone, I guess, features that it should always have had. I think the most exciting thing potentially is the universal apps, the way that you've got apps that are built to run across your PC, your small tablet, and your smartphone sort of all at once. They don't have to develop separate apps, I guess. So you can have the same on the move as you've got at your office at home. It just creates that better feeling of an ecosystem that's supposed to work together rather than having a Windows Phone that's separate from everything else that you have. I like the quick reply, I think, from what I've seen of that, and also the new voice-to-text, which is apparently more intelligent, but obviously I've not been able to test it myself, so I haven't been able to see how good that is at adding punctuation or choosing the number 2 instead of to the word, or to the other word with 2 O's. So yeah, it looks good, and there's a lot of good potential there, but I haven't played with it myself, so I can't have a conclusive opinion. Like, I don't know, yeah.
All right, okay, we lost our Michael there. Let's keep on moving on with the news while they work out their issues there. Let's see. Nokia had a little update coming to Here Maps, which I'm happy to see that Here is still becoming a more and more, not that it ever wasn't a valid option, but it's easy to, when you have really great mapping things like Google Maps, it's very easy to think, okay, I have this works, we don't need anything else. And certainly when Apple moved away from Google as a maps provider with iOS a couple generations back, it struggled to make Apple Maps work on its own. But Nokia's been doing its own thing with Here Maps for a while now. This new update just came out. It added in some new new information on bodies of water, roads, turn-by-turn navigation with more regions around the globe. It would flesh things out in Taipei, Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Singapore. Fantastic vacation destinations for this time of year, if you're especially in the Northeast where it's super cold like we are. Michael and I, at least here. Is it cold in England, Cam?
Constantly.
Yeah, okay. So these are places, if you want to go to somewhere warm and nice, Here we'll hook you up with how to get around there.
Awesome.
These new updates are for the Windows Phone and the Android version. And there's also some transportation, public transit updates where it's better at keeping track of where the actual trains and buses are moving around. So using that while you're out on the go, now you can do it with your maps even better than you could before. Is Michael back yet? No. We are on.
He's not there. He's gone.
Yeah. Oh well, that's fine. He had a good run. This is going to be the all-new Pocketnow Weekly with Steven at the helm from now on. Jon Stewart's moving out of the Daily Show. I'm stepping up to take helm of the Pocketnow Weekly. It's changes happening all over the place. Okay, let's switch gears to Android for a minute here. Valentine's Day is coming up tomorrow. If you're like me, you have been neglecting it and are waiting to see if that's going to come to bite you in the ass. But the girlfriend hasn't mentioned it yet, so you think you're okay, but we'll find out. But if you're thinking of maybe buying some tech stuff because your lady is a Pocketnow listener, and really she should be, then you've made the right choices in life. Motorola has been having a Valentine's Day sale to help you save a little bit of cash when outfitting yourself with the latest phones and accessories. The big deal was announced the end of last month, and you could save up to $140 if you were spending $500 or more in Motorola's online store. That was a really limited time offer. You had to register by Monday a week ago, so you've missed the boat on that. Going forward, though, there was the opportunity to save a little bit less. Still a decent amount. You could save $100 on that $500 purchase, or if you're only spending $250, they would knock $35 off your order. It was going to be they only had until Valentine's Day itself, Saturday, to take advantage of this. And Motorola's like, well, we're going to give you a little more extra time in case you haven't made your mind up just yet. So now you have through the 17th? through next Tuesday to finalize your purchase. And while it's the initial 140 off, you need to register and get a promo code and redeem it. This is very simple, no code. You just go to Motorola's website, throw stuff in your cart. If it reaches these 250 or 500 of the cutoffs, you get the discount. Very simple.
How's that? I mean, really, hello, it's Jules here. Let me turn on the mic over here. Why not? Because
finally, I like this. And you usurped Michael here because that guy, honestly, he had a good run, but I think we've been grooming you for a while to fill his shoes now.
I haven't received my first paycheck yet, so we'll talk about that a little later. That's not the right mic. That's the right mic. So now you can possibly hear me more. When
we can hear you, which is more than we could say from Michael initially.
Yeah, and his thing is still cut off and all that. But yeah, I mean, broken wire is broken hearts. What a lovely way to spend this Valentine's Day.
Sure. The only really disappointing thing, as far as I'm concerned, is that some of the prices at Motorola's store they're still a little high. I remember
a little
this
inflated.
time. Pardon?
Well, still a little inflated.
We haven't seen big discounts, is the problem. I mean, this time last year, they were cutting Moto X prices left and right. As soon as January rolled around, it was save $100 here, save $150, save $200 there. I don't think we've seen that I mean, yeah, it saved money on a huge order, and granted, the Moto X is going to run you a significant amount of money buying it full price anyway, but I would like to combine this with the discounts. I am a